last month actually have shown that the event industry is flipping upside down due to the corona situation. What has happened from our experience and what we also think will happen in the future to the event industry.
Events being postponed or canceled. These dramatic moves on the sports landscape for many a real glimpse or indication of how serious this virus is.
9,000 events have already been cancelled or postponed, and a further 5,000.
It has been impacted by COVID-19 just like a domino effect.
For the first time ever, WWE superstars will entertain you tonight in front of an empty arena.
And overnight, pro wrestling putting on their weekly SmackDown show without a crowd.
It's just going to be a little delayed from when we thought it would start.
Seeing more and more event cancellations and postponements due to COVID-19, and it's costing us tens of millions of dollars in tourism money.
Event organizers from California to New England are postponing major events, some canceling them altogether.
It's having a major impact on festivals and the entire sports world, including the NBA and NHL. Right here at home with Padres opening day now canceled.
Multiple events canceled.
Beberapa aktiviti ataupun sektor dilarang. Perarakan keagamaan dalam jumlah yang ramai, kenduri kendara, rumah terbuka dan aktiviti ataupun apa-apa aktiviti lain yang melibatkan kehadiran orang ramai yang bersesak di suatu tempat sehingga menyukarkan amalan penjarakan sosial dan juga pematuhan kepada SOP.
Hi, Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to all the participants. I am Alena Tasha and my partner Alif Huraira will be your MC for today. We appreciate your kind cooperation and attention throughout this program. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Event Industry Symposium 2021.
I would like to extend a warm welcome to our guest of honor, Professor Dr. Noriati Ahmad, Dean of Faculty of Business and Management, Professor Dr. Muhammad Salihuddin Muhammad Zahari, Dean of Faculty of Hotel and Tourism Management, and speakers of the day, Ms. Hanshika Herat, Ms. Rachel and Nukui, Ms. Ting Zihi, Mr. Agung Nugraha, and Ms. Natasha Eddy.
Not to forget our beloved advisors, Ms. Azura Nordin, Madam Noakna Ramli, and Dr. Hasna Hui, lecturers and fellow participants. On behalf of the committee members, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to all the participants for joining this sharing session together with us.
Before we proceed with today's agenda, we would like to invite Mr. Muhammad Razim Muhammad Yusuf to lead the Doa recitation. Allow us to invite Mr. Muhammad Razim Muhammad Yusuf.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahilladzi bi ni'matihi tatamma salihah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulina al-amin wa ala alihi washabihi ajma'in. Allahumma fil lana dhunubana wal walidina warhamhuma kama rabbayna shaghira. Ya Allah, ya fa'ala lima yurid. We express our gratitude to you for allowing us to attend the launching ceremony of the Event Industry Symposium 2021 on this auspicious morning. Ya Allah, we ask you for the safety of our religion and the welfare of our body. O Allah, Lord of the implementing authority, make the days that we've gone through, starting with your mercy, continue with your blessing, and end with thy forgiveness. And also make the days that we've gone through with guidance and end with the victory of excellence. Ya Allah, Ya Muhamminu, Ya Aziz, Ya Jabbar, let our effort as a means to enlighten and convince ourselves that the personal safety of either outer or inner is a prerequisite for achieving happiness and excellence in various fields. O Allah, grant us faith and strength in order to face the challenge of life during the transition period and in the face of life in this new millennium. Ya Allah, Ya Farijal Lahum wa Ya Kashifal Gham. Ya Allah, show us guidance and adjust our paths and ways to achieve happiness and glory. Let us listen to good people who like the good things. Let us avoid doing the bad and evil things. O Allah, bless our life in this meeting and gathering, and prevent us from harm and unfortunate events. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you, Mr. Muhammad Razik, for the beautiful dua recitation. We pray that our last day of symposium is blessed with barakah and rahmah from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala with all His mercy.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your information, Event Industry Symposium 2021 is hosted by Aviana Bachelor of Event Management from the Faculty of Business and Management in collaboration with Master in Tourism Management students from the Faculty of Hotel and Tourism Management, UITM Puncak Alam. This event is sponsored by Jekyll as our main sponsor. Heavenly Escape Holiday, Raya Hotel, Kalang House, Quinara Houseboat Kenir, Hadron Restaurant, Mafioso Shellout, Kowe IR Legacy Group, and HK Travel and Tours. Let's give a big round of applause to our sponsors.
Our main agenda for today is the survival after COVID-19, and we will begin our first slot by our honorable speaker from New Zealand, Ms. Hanshika Herat, the chairperson of Pacific Asia Travel Association, and then we will continue with the second slot by the international student from the Philippines and Indonesia, and not to forget, our representative from Malaysia. Let's watch this video.
Thank you for the video. It's so blissful. We also would like to announce that there will be prizes for 25 active participants. You know the drill, guys, so don't forget to actively comment and ask questions during the session. In addition, we also have one golden cat for the most active participant and 11 prizes for the best Instagram story posting. In order for you to win, you may upload your unique posting and about our event on your Instagram, and don't forget to tag us at EIS2021 and hashtag Event Symposium 2021. Make sure to unprivate your account as well so that our team is able to see your postings. So what are you guys waiting for? Stand a chance to win these amazing vouchers from our sponsors. Without wasting time, let's get started with our first slot. Give a round of applause to our speaker, Ms. Hanshika Herat and Afifah Rustam as the moderator.
Assalamualaikum and good morning to everyone. First of all, I would like to welcome all of you to the Event Industry Symposium Day 2. I'm Afifah Rostam, the moderator for today's event. Before we begin our session, allow me to introduce to our speaker, Ms. Anshika Herat. She is the chairperson of Pacific Asia Travel Association. Today, Ms. Anshika will be sharing with us her opinions and thoughts regarding the survival after COVID-19. WHO declared the outbreak a public health emergency of international concern on January 30, 2020. And later, on March 11, 2020, WHO declared a pandemic. Fast forward to today, a lot has changed, especially in the tourism industry. The outbreak of COVID-19 has exposed a major risk to the Visit Malaysia campaign, as 50% of Malaysia tourists originate from Singapore and China. As I mentioned previously, we have a very special guest that lives 8,770 kilometers away from us, Ms. Anshika Herat from Auckland, New Zealand. She is the chairperson of Pacific Asia Travel Association. Ms. Anshika also has a very wide experience in hospitality industry, particularly in hotels and restaurants. Welcome, Ms. Anshika. Before I start, I just want to say what an impressive CV. Thank you so much for your precious time today. How are you feeling today, Miss?
Hi everyone, Ibo and Kiora. Thank you very much for inviting me for this event. Yes, all going well so far. It's really cold in these days for us. So I'm sending my wishes from far away New Zealand to you all.
Perfect. Miss Anshika, we read a lot of good news regarding the government of New Zealand on how they handle the COVID-19. So can you briefly tell us the COVID-19 situation in New Zealand?
At the moment, we don't have any community cases, but we got a couple of cases in our borders. That means border workers only, because recently New Zealand government opened the borders for Australia. So because of that, we got I think nearly 3 community. I mean, not the community cases, but the border cases. So apart from that, so on entire the country is COVID-0 at the moment.
That sounds very impressive. We are very jealous of New Zealand right now. So thank you, Miss. Before we begin our session, I believe you have presentation, right? I will ask my team to present it for you. Is it okay?
That's very good. Thank you very much.
Okay. So without further ado, I'll just start with our main topic, which is the survival after COVID-19. So my first question to Ms. Anshika would be, what did the New Zealand tourism industry do in order to survive and sustain during the pandemic?
All right. Yeah, I think at the moment New Zealand is world famous because of the controlling this COVID situation and rebuilding tourism industry. So I think this is very concurrent topic. So I created a couple of presentation slides related to that question. So shall we move to the next slide? Then I can start from there.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, we all know COVID since 2019, it affected whole the world, not for Malaysia or not only for New Zealand, whole the world. And tourism industry is the massive and largest industry affected because of the COVID. So most of the countries, because of lots of countries, they closed down their border. So no more chance for international tourists to travel. So then as a result of that, so lots of bigger organizations as well as small scale organizations, they affected, especially the workforce. Same here in New Zealand. So let's go to next slide. Then I will explain furthermore. So in New Zealand, in March 2020, we got 1,497 COVID cases in New Zealand. So because of this massive outbreak, government decided to close down country completely as soon as possible. And at that time, actually, we had level system like level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the level 5 mean the worst situation. So the level 5, no one could go outside, only allowed to go to the supermarket nearby, and only essential work operated. Apart from that, entire country was locked down. So let's go to the next slide. So, because of the border closures, actually, international tourism hugely affected. In New Zealand, we all know it's such a stunning country, so the tourism operating really well in New Zealand, and most of the, tourism industry is largely dependent on international tourists. So, in the country, international tourism contributed New Zealand $16.2 billion to New Zealand gross domestic product. And also, nearly 12% of the New Zealand workforce was dependent on tourism industry. So, because of the border closures, country decided not to take any international tourist. Let's go to the next slide, please. But can we stay inside at home forever, or can we operate the country without gaining this money that country had before because of tourism? So it was a massive question actually New Zealand government had to address. So because of that, government decided, all right, let's try to find some strategies. As a result, government launched a very creative tourism campaign called Do Something New New Zealand. So this Do Something New New Zealand, its basic intention was to increase domestic tourism. Because, sometimes, even for myself, I have a bucket list to travel. So I think, Malaysia also one country in my bucket list. I travel to many countries, but not Malaysia. One day, definitely, I will have to go it.
Please come right after COVID.
So all of us, we have bucket list, and bucket list filled with international countries, isn't it? Same in New Zealand. But government said, all right, make a bucket list in your country. Come and enjoy the authenticity in your country. So that's the major intention behind this campaign. Let's go to the next slide, then I can further explain. Actually, in this new promotion program, it encourages domestic tourists to travel within their country, and also it encourages tourism operators to open their borders to domestic tourists. Because this is very common thing actually. When we say tourism, we always think about international tourists. It's not actually, because domestic tourists also play a major role. So government created that culture with this campaign, and they said, all right, now we don't have any opportunity to open the borders for international tourists. Let's run the tourism industry with our own people, with our domestic, please let the chance of domestic travelers to enjoy this beautiful country. Let's go to the next slide, then I can further explain. So with this new campaign of Do Something New New Zealand, so it re-energized tourism industry, rebuilt the tourism industry and the workforce as well. So until level 3, actually, we couldn't go out. But in the level 3, all the small-scale hotels, restaurants, cafes opened, but only the takeaways, not dine-in facilities. But in level 2, so all the tourism activities open as usual. But we maintained the government, we followed government rules and regulation like keeping 2-meter distance and wearing masks and all our general healthcare things. We followed all the guidelines and scanning QR codes when we go somewhere. Then government could monitor all our mobility activities. So because of this campaign, again, the workforce, they could start their jobs, especially in small-scale businesses like small restaurants, hotels, and cafes. They could start their jobs as usually. And the interesting thing was, in front of most of restaurants, they placed these nice boards saying that show your love for local and invite people to come and buy things from these local places, local cafes and restaurants, to support these local businesses. Let's go to next slide. Please ask questions if you do have any in between, okay? And this is, I will simply explain why this domestic tourism is important. So before this campaign started in New Zealand, actually, 60% of the New Zealand tourism was dependent on domestic tourism. That means a significant proportion, actually. 40% was international tourism. And also, New Zealand previously spent 9 billion overseas travel per year. As I said before, we all have kind of like passion and dream to travel abroad. So New Zealanders, they spend 9 billion, such a big amount. Government said, all right, spend that money to your own country. So that's how government encourages locals to travel travel within, and that's how government rebuild tourism industry in New Zealand. So let's go to the next slide. And also, another strategy government implemented was integrated responsible regional tourism activities. I mean, government contacted all regional tourism operators, so they are the responsible parties of all regional tourism activities. And then government spent money for this. I mean, government fund for all these regional tour operators to promote tourism within that particular region. Because in New Zealand, we have two different islands, South Island and North Island. So I live in North Island. So the South Island, we have to fly. We can drive, but it takes like, I would say sometimes 10 hours to drive. So it's a long hour. So we fly because of that. But in the level 3, it was not safe to fly and the flight was not available as well. So what government did, they started to do regional tourism promotions. Okay, now it's a chance for you to travel within your region. So because of that, all the regional tour operators, they supported regional tourism businesses to promote their tourism activities to local level. Okay, let's go to the next slide. And these are some toolkits government actually implemented. So, in our generation, your generation, we all are familiar with these technological things. We know how to do promotion through social media, Instagram, Facebook, and create posters very quickly. But there are some people actually, they are not very well, they're not skillful, or they don't know how to do these things with this technology. Because of that government, New Zealand government, they started to do some online workshop, awareness programs, and they created kind of like downloadable assets that regional tour operators can customize. Because with this present condition, we all are going with internet and we all are following these social media things. So government encourage small scale tour operators. Okay, these are the materials, you just have to customize it. So it was such a such a good strategy actually government implemented to aware local level, to aware small scale businesses to use this internet effectively to attract domestic tourists. Okay, let's go to the next slide. And leadership. It is, I think, in New Zealand now is world famous because of how leadership in the country. So our Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern actually, she did such a big job during this COVID-19 pandemic situation. I mean, especially to rebuild the tourism industry. So people love her a lot because, not because of that, she has very good policies as well. But she gave such a good support to tourism industry. She always encouraged people to travel safely, follow the guidelines, travel safely, and help local businesses. So I think leadership is essential to go back to normal level. I know it's hard to go back to normal level and taking all international tourists in this moment, but to rebuild your tourism industry, I think leadership is essential. Okay, let's go to the next slide. And what we can learn from New Zealand post-COVID tourism strategy? Number one, I would say think locally and act responsibly. Domestic tourism is also important. So tourism doesn't mean international tourists. Tourism doesn't mean flying to another country. No. Your own country, you have so much of things to see. Even myself, I'm originally from Sri Lanka. So I know in my own country, there are many areas I haven't seen, but I traveled to many countries in Europe. See, we miss our country. Now I feel like, okay, I couldn't travel to that area, this area, but I can't go now. So it's like this, I think, for you guys also in Malaysia. There are nice places, I guess. So
yes, correct.
Yeah, tourism is not like traveling to other countries, travel in your country. Create that culture and that sense of domestic tourism. It is really important. So because of this campaign in New Zealand, because now I live in New Zealand, I also started to travel within this country. Otherwise, I've always planning to go to Pacific Islands, but now I feel like, okay, I will go to Pacific Island one day. But in this moment, it is the time for me to travel in this country and see the beauty. Okay, let's go to the next slide. And also, the right awareness and acute positioning and robust marketing is really important. So in that case, how you promote your tourism products to the local level? Because before that, most of the tour operators, they try to attract international audience. So their campaign, promotional activities, everything is targeted on that international audience. But now with this all the challenges, we have to attract our domestic tourists. In that case, marketing is really important, as well as localization of it is important to localize your tourism product to match to the domestic audience. For an example, actually I came to New Zealand in 2018. At that time it was really hard for me to travel because most of the places, entrance ticket maybe, or the activities are really expensive. For the as a domestic person, sometimes it's hard for us to bear because everything is catered to international market. But with this promotion, they cut off all the prices and they give 50% off in most of the places. So domestic people, they started to take the advantage out of that. So I think it's a very good strategy, isn't it? Then it says that okay, we welcome all the domestic people. So it's important to customize your tour packages maybe, or attractions maybe, events, activities matching to the budget of domestic tourists. Let's go to the next slide. And also, application of global innovation and technology is very important. As I said before, we all are aware with these new technologies, but there are lots of things we also have to learn. But it is important to create this culture, especially in this pandemic situation, to attract or to develop your domestic tourism activities, to rebuild tourism industry. It is important to employ all these innovative technologies. And also networking and integration. Tourism is not a composite product. It's a collection of many things. Hospitality industry, tourism, events, all are there. And it is important to network with national tourism organizations, regional tourism operators, private sector, public sector, NGOs, all of that organizations together to face this pandemic challenge. So that's how New Zealand becomes successful at the moment. So I hope if you apply some kind of a same strategies, you'll be successful as well, like us.
Thank you so much. That is very great response from Ms. Anshika. So I'll just proceed with the next question, shall we?
Yeah.
So as a student myself, and I believe you're also a PhD student, do you have any tips that you want to share with us, especially the tourism and event management students?
Yeah, of course. Shall we go to? There are a couple of slides related to that one as well. Can we go back to the slides?
Sure.
Yeah, I know this is the another challenge, especially for the student, even for myself actually, because I'm a PhD student. As you said, I'm also thinking like sometimes, how can I find a job? But what I can say, this is a good opportunity for all of us to think about different possibilities or the different directions we haven't seen before. For an example, just imagine that even this symposium, I'm in New Zealand and there are different other speakers today from Philippines and different other countries. We are all of us now, we are networking with these platforms. That means because of the COVID thing, people started to think in different way, isn't it? We started to embrace the challenge, embrace the change. That's important thing. Let's go to the next slide. Then I will explain further about this job market issues. So this is the list of industries where job number fell. So in that list, number one is accommodation and food service in New Zealand. 7,772 jobs lost in New Zealand within this pandemic period. And healthcare and social assistant jobs boosted. It is, that increase is 8,860. Okay, so now you can see how this tourism affected jobs in hospitality and tourism industry. Let's go to the next slide. So in this chart also shows how the accommodation sector jobs collapsed suddenly, and then healthcare, community services, community support, that jobs increased. So as a students in hospitality tourism events, now we are like thinking, shall we change our stream or shall we change our degree program or specialization areas? So can we find a job? It's a challenge for all of us, isn't it? Even for myself, as I said before. But what I can say, we all should have a hope. because industry will be back to normal, but it takes time. So let's go to the next couple of slides. I will explain further. This one also, it shows how the reduction of industry, like how service sector affected and other industries affected. But I will go to the next slide and explain bit more. And in New Zealand, actually, the case is average job losses of around 50% average job losses during that pandemic period. And at least 100,000 to 200,000 jobs currently supported by tourism to go in New Zealand. That means you can see that pandemic or the COVID affected hugely to tourism operation activities, and tourism was over 20% of our exports, 10% of our GDP. But still, our degree programs are running very well in New Zealand, and because we can see the future, although it affected, we know it was a challenge, but still it is going very well. I will tell you how it is happening very well. Let's go to the next slide. All right. Government started to give wage subsidy during that lockdown period, and they did taxes and levies. They cut off all the taxes and levies. Government gave fixed cost relief and strategic tourism asset protection program. These are some kind of a support government gave, and government created that culture. Okay, don't worry. If you are a student, if you are an immigrant, I'm an immigrant to this country. And they said, if you're an immigrant, don't worry. We are supporting for you. And don't worry about the job market as well. So the kind of a support government actually gave to every person who worked in tourism industry. Let's go to the next one, next slide. But the thing is that return to the previous level, actually, it will take a couple of years, 3 to 5 years to see the same tourism operation in the country. But we have to do our activities as we do like today. We have to increase our capacity, build our capacity, and like the things you do now. You're actually doing such a big job in this event. So it's such a good experience for you all. So develop your own capacities, because countries will open one day. In the meantime, every country will do good domestic tourism operation. Then there are chances for you. But the thing is that you have to develop yourself, develop your capacity, and then I don't think the job market gonna be a problem. It can be couple of years we have to bear, but within that period we have to work together, do all these, get the maximum benefit out of it, or these online platforms, online learning, and prepare yourself. When the opportunities come, you just have to apply for those opportunities. Let's go to next slide. I think that's my last one. Do you have any more question to us? Then I can answer as well.
Okay, thank you so much for your tips and your brilliant opinions. So we will proceed with Q&A session. We actually have several questions to ask you. So the first one is, do you mean that New Zealand still or can travel to any part of their country without minding the distance, like implemented in Malaysia, 10 kilometers away only?
Actually, now we don't have to keep the distances. We can travel to any part of the country, and we can do any events, no limits, limited number. Recently, New Zealand, one of the biggest musical festival happened, like 50,000 of people were there in that event as well. So country is zero COVID, because we don't have any community case at the moment. So we can travel to anywhere in the country.
Perfect. That sounds very impressive.
Yeah, as a practice, we do like a QR coding. You know that before we enter into somewhere, we have government control all our mobile phones. We have an app, so we do QR coding. So if government recognize that any person with community case, so then they see how many people entered into that place, and they suddenly distribute information. So we follow all the rules. That's why country is safe at the moment.
Understood. Okay. So next question is, may we know that whether New Zealand citizens are still working from home or they can freely go to their office?
We all can
depend on sector.
Even universities, everyone, they are going to office and work. Even the universities, they operate as usual in New Zealand. But to prepare students, because anytime, this recovery is unpredictable. Anytime another second wave can come. But I hope No, but we do like kind of online teaching as well in our universities. It's like a blended approach to give the sense like for the students, okay, if any time lockdown can be happen, then you have to prepare yourself. But apart from that, everything is back to normal. People going to work in their office, universities operating as usually. So country is back to normal so far at the moment.
Okay. So I think this is the last question. So how about the industry player in New Zealand, such as hotel? How they respond to the pandemic?
How about the industry player in New Zealand, such as hotel? Actually,
Yeah.
how do this sector respond to the pandemic? So the hotel industry in New Zealand, it's like in tourism, hotel. I mean, accommodation sector is a major sector, as I said before. So with the sudden lockdown on the hotels and everything, uh, affected a lot, but now everything is back to normal, so the people are traveling. But as I said before, sometimes we couldn't afford the hotel prices because everything is focused on international tourists, but the hotel industry now, they cut off all the prices and they customize to domestic tourists. So even now, if I go to travel to South Island, I can stay in a very nice hotel but with affordable price. So hotel industry is running very well at the moment because of that, because they customize all their product matched to the domestic people.
Okay, perfect. So next would be right after COVID. Do you think right after like next 2 years like that, do you think the future of tourism and event industry would be a very outstanding industry?
Of course, because now with this pandemic situation, everyone realized that uncertainty in life, isn't it? Anything can be happen at any time. So we all are allowed to travel and see the world because of that. So I don't think tourism gonna be affected a lot in next couple of years, but it will increase a lot. People started to travel more and enjoy, and especially these accommodation events and the all travel activities will be increased very. I mean, I think it will be increased. So there can be lots of opportunities in event industry as well, especially things like that. Now we are familiar with all these platforms like Zoom and all these live streams and all. So students are aware and they have capacity. So with all of these things, people try to do international programs, not like domestic, like not domestic symposium. Now we are doing international symposiums likewise. So when borders open and when start people started to come again and when tourism started to grow, I'm 100% sure industry will be boosted again and more jobs, especially in event hospitality and all of that sectors.
Okay, definitely agree with you. Okay. And our last question would be event can be held via virtual or hybrid, just like we are doing right now. But travel and tour is about having an experience where you have to see, you have to touch, then you can feel in order to get the experience. So how is it possible for us to do that?
So if you don't mind, could you please repeat the question again, because I feel that
Okay.
it's a bit long.
Okay, so what we are doing right now is a virtual, right? We can host a virtual event, right? But in order for you to have actual experience in traveling, you have to touch, you have to see, you have
Mm-hmm.
to hear
Mm-hmm.
the where are you going. So how is it possible to do that right now?
Ah, all right, I got it. But now at the moment, event industry, we are doing through these online platforms because we can't travel. But everyone likes to go to another country, like and attend in this symposium. If it is possible for me to go to Malaysia and attend, it's a different sense. It's a different feeling. I totally agree with you. But with this pandemic situation, actually, any of us we can't go. But we are lucky enough to connect at least like this way. But I know this close down, it is temporary thing. So countries will never close down forever. Then we can go physically and we can attend. But at this moment, but I suggest like if you organize online workshops or symposiums like this, so if you can allow people to show their country with a little documentary, little videos, that would be nice. I know physically we can't be there, but at least if we can see some things, if we can see the attractions, it would be a nice thing. Then one day when you go to that country or when you visit, then you can have that feeling
Right.
physically. But in this
Right.
moment, yes, we have to do everything virtually, to be honest.
Right. Okay. Okay. Actually, we do have another question. Just let me read it for you. You're waiting for the question. Okay. This would be the last question. I'm so sorry, but sure, this is the last one.
No, it's fine.
If you're a type of person who love tourism event, who cannot spend a week or weeks without involving in tourism event, find yourself at Malaysia. How will you cope?
Okay, let me read it again. Who
Okay,
love
sure.
tourism event? My last question. If you are type of a person who love tourism events, who cannot spend a week or weeks without involving in tourism events, find yourself at Malaysia. How will you cope? Uh,
Do you
so
want me
that
to
means,
explain it for you?
yeah, that would be really good.
Oh, okay. So basically, here in Malaysia, we cannot travel, right? So given the fact that you are a tourism, you are very good in tourism, right? You have very wide experience in tourism. So what will you do if you suddenly ended up here in Malaysia? How will you cope with that? Okay, I think we lost our speaker, but that should be okay. I'll just wrap up this whole session if that's okay. So, uh, okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure our speaker have some technical problem, but that's all right. So I'll just wrap up our. Okay, you're back,
Yeah, I
Miss.
don't know what happened. I think it's a technical issue, I guess
Okay,
so.
okay. Can we proceed with the question? I'll just explain
Yeah,
again to you.
can you give me a brief idea, then I can answer.
Oh, okay, right. So here in Malaysia, as you know, we cannot travel, right? So there are very limited movement for us. So what if you, as someone who has very wide experience in tourism, you love to travel, you need to travel for your work, and suddenly you ended up here in Malaysia. What will you do in order to cope with that?
I got it. Even myself, I faced that challenge during the lockdown period actually. So I
Mm-hmm.
know there are people that actually love to travel, but with the COVID thing now, with the government restrictions, you can't travel. But the thing is that in this moment, it is really important to accept the government guidelines and follow them and not to travel. But
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't mean you can't, because everything is virtual actually. So what you can prepare your travel bucket list and you can observe, you can learn more, and there are plenty of online opportunities like online workshops. Attend those workshops as well. You can join with different events online. So build your capacity, because during this time when the government say don't travel, yes, it's a challenge. So we have to wait.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean not just to stay at home and worrying about this COVID thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Correct.
you have to open your mind and try to understand what you really want. Then prepare yourself for that opportunities. There are lots of,
Mm-hmm.
for an example, I recently I got some emails from PATA, our Pacific Asia Travel Association, uh, saying that there are lots of internships. They open all these
Mm-hmm.
internships for international students to work online for PATA. So those kind of opportunities are really amazing, isn't it? So
Yeah.
likewise, you have to open yourself for the all opportunities, upcoming opportunities. Then I know you can't travel, but if you prepare yourself when the borders are open, you can fly again.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much, Ms. Hanshika. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we actually have come to the end of our session. Once again, I would like to say thank you very much to Ms. Hanshika Herat for your time today. It was a great session. So, here are the few key points that we can conclude from today. First of all, New Zealand government introduced a new campaign, right? The welcome, do something new, New Zealand, and then a very strong leadership from the Prime Minister of New Zealand. And lastly, for the student, we need to learn and embrace change for the future. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly correct. Please
okay.
accept the change because everything
Yeah.
is you, how you
Mhm.
think and how you do.
Perfect. Okay, thank you so much,
Thank
Miss.
you very much for inviting and good luck for the event. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for the speaker and also the moderator. I think that's a quite great sharing session. So now let's proceed with the second slot. So for this slot, we have four speakers. Two are from Malaysia and the other two are from the Philippines and Indonesia. So first, we have Miss Rachel and Nugui from Lyceum University, Philippines. Miss Ting Ziyi from Taylor University, Malaysia. Next, Mr. Agung Nugraha from Lombok Polytechnic, Indonesia. And last but not least, we have Miss Natasha Eddy from UITM, Puncak Alam, Malaysia. So for your information, our speaker is the student representative from their country and most are from tourism and event program study. So for 1 hour slot, we have four speakers. They will share their opinion and story on how as the student they will survive with the industry on the field that they choose, so such as tourism and events. So as we know, tourism is one of the most affected industry during this pandemic COVID-19. And also they will share the current situation at the country like the Philippines and also the Indonesia and many more interesting topics. So I would like to remind, don't forget to share the post on Instagram story and tag us at EIS 2021 and hashtag Event Industry Symposium 2021. So, are you guys excited? If yes, please comment on the chat box so we can see that you are excited about next slot with our fourth speaker. Yeah, so we still waiting. Oh, all right. So everyone cannot wait about next slot, which is our speaker for speaker, which is from Indonesia, Philippines, and also from our country that is Malaysia. So let's welcome our speaker and moderator for this slot.
Alright. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and very good morning to everyone. Welcome to our Event Industry Symposium.
I am Husna Haiti Putri Muhammad Rosidin, and he is Ridwan bin Nasaruddin, who will be serving as your moderator for today. So basically, today we have four panelists member in front of us, as you can see. From my side, we can see, please welcome young Mr. Agung Nugrahal and Ms. Natasha Eddy, who will be sharing about the survival of the COVID-19. My first panelist here, we have Mr. Agung Nugraha, who is a student of Lombok Polytechnic, who served as coordinator of Project Division Pacific Asia Travel Association, PATA, SC, Lombok Tourism Polytechnic. How are you doing there, Mr. Agung?
Hi, I'm good as well.
Hello. Alright, thank
Hello.
you. And we have our second panelist here. Ms. Natasha Eddy is a student of UITM Puncak Alam, who is the former secretary of Association of Event Management Student. How are you doing there, Ms. Natasha? You're looking great
I'm
and
doing
stunning today.
fine. Thank you, thank you.
Alright, thank you. so for the remaining panelists speakers, yeah, I'll pass the mic to my partner, Ridwan, for a brief introduction of the panelist members.
Okay, thank you, Rose. From my side, we have Miss Rachel and Nukwe and Miss Ting Yi. Our third panelist is Miss Rachel. Is a student who is a Bachelor of Science in International Travel and Tourism Management, Lyceum of the Philippines University. How are you, Miss?
Hi, I'm good. How about you guys?
Yeah, we good. Thank you.
Okay.
Alright, for our last panelist is Miss Tin Ziyi, is a student in Bachelor of International Tourism Management in Event Management at Taylor University. So, how about you? Are you doing well, Miss?
Hi everyone, I'm doing well. Glad to be here.
Thank you. Okay, alright, as we know, recently we are dealing with this pandemic crisis scenario that there is no end to threaten the world in general and human being in particular. Since the onset of this pandemic, all sector of the economy has been affected, especially the tourism sector. For your information, Malaysians first quarter GDP in 2020 declined to 0.7% due to the impact of actions taken both globally and domestically to curb the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. So, today our speaker will be speaking about the survival after COVID-19. Rose, are you there? Okay, for the first, our representative is, we have Mr. Agung Nugraha. Hello, Mr. Agung. Are you okay there
Hi.
in Indonesia?
Yes, I'm okay here.
Alhamdulillah, good. So may I ask you a little bit about your country, Mr. Agung? How was the COVID situation in Indonesia? Is it controllable, or how is the situation there? Can you share with
Okay.
us?
Okay. Thanks for the time. Here, I'd like to share my experience in my country, Indonesia, since COVID-19 come to Indonesia in March 2020. Until today, we have more than 1.9 million cases with 100,000 active cases and more than 50,000 cases, death cases. And by this by this data that I had from the government, that it is related to the statement that COVID-19 is infected every single sector, especially in tourism, the massive sector that infected by COVID-19. And also I feel that as the student of tourism, and I said that we currently have a horrible experience from
So, as you
lockdown
can see here,
and
we have Mr. Agung Nugraha. Hello, Mr. Agung. May I ask a little bit of question about your country? How was the COVID situation in Indonesia? Is it controllable, or how, Mr.
okay.
Sorry, Mr. Agung, you may proceed.
Okay, no problem. Let me continue my word that we really have a horrible experience from the lockdown, social restriction, and also everything is online from class, work, and also like what we do today. We have a virtual event, but now we are in the new normal. We can enjoy our life as well, but we still have to following the health protocol. Like if we want to go anywhere, we have to using mask, hand sanitizer, and everything we do to stop the infection of coronavirus. And if we see the condition is controllable, but we still try our best to stop the infection of coronavirus. That's
Yeah, thank you. So same here in Malaysia, but we hope that we will face the COVID-19 situation. All right, here we can go.
yes, true.
I was wondering, it is the same as Philippines. Would you mind to share about your country situation, Miss Rachel?
Yeah, so the COVID-19 situation today in the Philippines is unfortunately still rising, just like in Indonesia, but it is especially in some of the provinces who actually doesn't have any cases before, but because a lot of Filipinos tend to get back to their homes, so that's one of the reasons. But gladly, in some areas, a lot of prioritized group of people have already completed their second dose of vaccines. And that's actually good news to us and a step forward into recovery. And hopefully, all of us could get vaccinated as soon as possible.
All right. Thank you, Miss Rachel, for explanation. So next, let's move to the our panelist member, Miss Natasha Eddy. So here we already came to our main discussion topic of the forum, the survival of COVID-19. To answer this question, may I know where is the differences between the way you handle events in your university, which is UiTM Puncak Alam, and how it will influence the event industry? Miss Natasha?
Okay, thank you for the question, Mr. Ridwan. So, us as student of event management students, we are given the opportunity to organize our own events. So before this, we do it physically. We can do it indoors or outdoors, having mass gatherings. But when the pandemic happens, we have to do it fully virtual. But because of the students have quite tight budget, so we cannot actually subscribe to the premium packages that we have. You know, like Zoom, they have premium. If the free one, we only have 50 participants, and if the GMeet, we have limitations. So this is where our society, event management society, helps the students. We collect funds and then we can provide them premium so that the students can feel the maximum benefit of every software. That is how we run the events nowadays.
Yeah, it's true. Basically, we have to run our event using the virtual application, which is Zoom,
Yeah.
Google Meet, and so on. Yes. So next, we can see the how Miss Natasha and her team handle the event, like how struggle they are and everything. So as we know, Malaysia SOP is quite strict, which is involve first comprehensive ban on public gatherings and movement throughout the country, including religious activities, sport, social, and cultural. So Miss Tinzi, how about SOPs in the event environment during pandemic at your university?
So, as Malaysians know, all like higher learning institutions, universities right now, our SOPs all require us to be online. And previously, before this recent MCO actually, Taylor's University actually still had some hybrid classes, hybrid events, and so forth. However, right now, of course, that doesn't apply anymore. Right now, everything is a requirement to be online. There is no large gatherings allowed at our university. Our university campus is still open, but right now no classes are there. It's just only for the students who require to use like our study room or library, they are able to go there. But for the events and so forth, all of that is online. But personally, this can be considered, you can think of it as a good thing because online compared to physical events, there's no restrictions. And previously, if you hosted events at your campus, you always need to be wary of like the maximum number of participants that can attend because all venues have a cap. All of them have a maximum. But then now online, not only is there like an unlimited number of participants, like right here, right now, we're streaming on YouTube, but also we can invite participants from overseas and internationally.
Yeah. All right. So thank you for the explanation, Miss Tinzi. So we have heard that Miss Tinzi answered the question just now. And now I would like to ask the same question to Mr. Agong Nugraha. How about SOP in the event environment at your university in Indonesia, Mr. Agong?
Okay, about the SOP in event industry in Indonesia, I think we have a same condition with Miss TZ. We still have a physical event or virtual event, but for the physical event in indoor, we have to follow. We have to we have to apply the health protocol such as using mask, social restriction, and also like we limit the participant into 20 participant maximum. And before we come to the room, we have to show the swab test from the hospital or the clinic of health. And that's mean we are free from COVID-19.
Okay, thank you for your answer. All right. Okay, since you are the event management student, Miss Tinzi, based on your experience, would you like to share your perspective about the future of event management student, especially in COVID-19 hit us?
Yes. So right now, everyone around me, classmates, all of us are very unsure, very tentative, and of course, nobody knows the future. And we are all just very focused on studying and gaining knowledge that will help us in the future industry. For Taylor's University, I'm not sure how it is like in other universities, but here I would say that we might be considered a little bit luckier because our course does have programs that are given to us that might be more helpful towards us for the event industry, such as like in my last year, I have an internship coming up. We also have programs which allows us to attend events like these where we receive talks and education from industry leaders in the event industry. And I think recently I also received a program where it is kind of like a small second internship opportunity where it's a partnership between Masios and Taylor's University. So I think that all of these helps us, the students, feel a little bit more relieved and secure because compared to having like no experience at all, we kind of like have a small stepping stone into the industry. And I guess another thing is that maybe after the COVID-19 dies down, future event management students might also think of kind of like a backup plan just in case something like this ever happens again. They might think like, oh, what else can I do to diversify? What else can I do to have something to lean back on just in case something like this happens again?
Yep. We hope so. That will be happen. So we would love to hear from Miss Natasha Eddy perspective on event management student, especially after COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, actually, I totally agree with almost everything that Tinzi have said because actually it opens up opportunity for us. Before this, like I said before, we have a quite tight budget to go beyond of our limits. So with these virtual events, we can actually go overseas. Like last semester, I attend an event, a community-based tourism event in that was handled by University Airlangga in Bali. Is it University Airlangga, Mr. Agung? It's a collaboration between
I think any
Surabaya
Erlangga in
and
Surabaya.
Surabaya. I'm sorry, Airlangga in Surabaya. So from there, we can actually go further. It's free. We don't
Mhm.
have to think about the transportation costs and everything. We can just join the event because it's virtual and we can attend it right in our room, right? So it opens many opportunities. And like this event right now, event industry symposium, it actually opened up our mind and it give us some light because I know some students they really felt down and they see like there is no hope in event industry. But by attending this kind of event, we can see from all the companies that actually do virtual events, we can see we have a future in the event industry. Yeah, we can go further
Okay.
actually.
Yes, I agree with that. Thank you, Miss Natasha Eddy. So, for Miss Rachel, since you are the tourism management student, could you give your perspective about how do tourism students to start their new journey related to the tourism industry? Well, we can see that is collapsing right now and to face the uncertain future. Or how? What do you think?
Yeah, so I think it's not really collapsing. So But I'm not really sure with the event students and what they're focusing in the industry, like specifically. But one thing I'm sure of is that we're both students of the industries that is facing a crisis because of COVID 19 right now. And because I'm studying under the tourism industry, right? So before, I have also became worried about the future, but now I realize that all of us are actually affected by this pandemic, right? But a lot of us also have no choice but to change their perspective in order to survive the situation or to survive life in general, right? And different industries are doing their part and is trying to recover by doing innovations. So if I'm going to be honest with you guys, as I've said, I myself don't know what my future career would be in post pandemic, but what can I only say to this is that do not really focus more or worry about what the future might hold. Instead, work or focus on your present life and what can you do today that can be beneficial to your career after COVID 19. And that probably your future self would thank you for, right? And I think you guys already knew that, and I'm just here to remind all of you about this.
Yeah, I agree. Just
Yeah,
living a life and just follow the SOP, right? No need to
yeah,
too much to worry about this pandemic or
right.
something. Okay, so we move to Mr. Agong. As we know, that is challenging for even students to start a new journey related to the tourism industry. It seems that currently it is collapsing like tourism industry to face uncertain future. Would you like to give some tips or on how they can start their journey, Mr. Agong?
Okay, I'm agree with Miss Rahel before, like her statement that we don't have to afraid with the future, and also as a student in event management or tourism, we have to believe that we can survive with this pandemic. We have no fear for the future. That's right, and we have to adapt to the and learn more about this pandemic. We can searching many information updates, especially about COVID-19, because we are the young generation. We are the student and we have the social media. We can get any information from that. And also in my region, Lombok Island, many organization or industry has have created their own enterprises. This is one kind of thing that we can revive our economic sector. And beside the using smartphone or anything, we also can promoting our best destination in our nation, because I believe that in every nation in this world has been blessed by the beautiful scenery of nature and culture. So start by now, you use your phone, and we don't need the advanced devices. By your our camera phone, we can take the picture of the destination, and we can share it in our social media platform like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and another platform. And by the post that we send, we can attract the tourism to visit our country to have an experience of beautiful scenery of nature and learn more about our culture. This is can provide our society and we can revive the economic by this thing. So we don't have to fear and about the future because of this pandemic, and we have to believe that we can survive if we want to survive, if we believe that we can rise from this pandemic.
Yeah, I agree. The main point is we have to uh, think positive and the mindset we control
Yes.
us, right? Yep. All right. Thank you, Mr. Agom. All right. So we have to the last slot, which is the question and answer session that we have from our audience, from the comment in Facebook, also in YouTube. So the question is, uh, goes to Mr. Agong. I heard you saying that you guys are now freely to move around or do your events once you wear your face mask. So you mean that they allowed to move around to any extent at Indonesia?
Okay, I'll answer the question that we still have the physical event, but we still following the health protocol. Like, it's not just using mask or using etc. We also uh, that's what I said. We have a social distancing, social restriction, and also we have to show our swab tests, and this means we are free from COVID-19. So this is can make sure that we are free from COVID-19 and we can follow the event that happened in that day. So there is no fear of COVID-19. And if you disagree with this, but we are held the event with the health protocol.
Okay, thank you. That was the perspective from Mr. Agong. So how about Miss Rachel in Philippines?
Yeah.
So how about you? You can say that in Philippines are now their situation is good, or you can move freely in your country, or can you give some explanation?
In our country, we cannot really move that freely without face shield, and the safety protocols that we needed to follow. And like what I've said or I've mentioned before, so the government here in the Philippines are strictly following safety protocols like social distancing, wearing of face shields and face masks, temperature check, and this is required in every establishment. And if they do not follow, so they couldn't continue on operating in a daily basis.
I see. Okay, thank you. So now we move to the next question, which is we all know that our every country now has promoted their vaccination. So the question is, how the government promote vaccination program in your country, Mr. Agong?
Okay, how the government promote vaccination program in my country? We have a socialization in every village, every region about the COVID and why we have to be vaccinated. Because this is important for us. One thing that we can do to stop the infection of coronavirus, and also the government promote the vaccination from the social media like Facebook, Twitter, and other platform. But the reality, there's many citizen this is many society that disagree with the vaccination because bad issue or anything, but I believe by this vaccination that we can reduce the case of COVID-19 and we can stop the infection of COVID-19.
Yeah, I see. So how about in Philippines? How vaccine was promoted there, Miss Rachel?
Oh yeah, in the Philippines. So,
Yeah.
in the Philippines, the government here in the Philippines is, like I've said before, is they are prioritizing the group of people that are like senior citizens and that are elders to get the vaccination firsthand. So
I
yeah.
see. Yes, same here in Malaysia also. All right, thank you, Miss Rachel. So, for Miss Natasha Eddy, as a student, what is the biggest challenge regarding your learning process that you guys face during this pandemic?
The biggest challenge. Okay, the biggest challenge I might say is our connection, I guess, because we don't really have the privilege of having a good line, good internet, good Wi-Fi. And I have some friends that they have to go to a certain restaurants, or here in Malaysia we call mama. They have to go to mama to borrow their Wi-Fi and enter the class. It's very, and I feel pity for them. And also, when the line is not that good, we can't really get what the lecturer is trying to teach. We can learn by notes and everything, but actually, what the advice that is given by the lecturer is important as well. So sometimes we can't really get the full, how do we say, full benefit of that lecture. That is the
Yeah,
biggest challenge from my point of view.
yeah, I see. Thank you, Miss Natasha Eddy. So, how about Miss Tinzi? So, how the biggest challenge that you face during your pandemic study?
So for me, it's also connection, but not internet connection. It's the connection between students and classmates. So of course, if we are having classes online, usually my classes, the students in it are quite hesitant to open camera, open mic, and speak up. And not to mention, I have not really met the majority of my classmates physically at all. A lot of them is just online, and that kind of affects how we communicate and how we interact with each other, which can be considered quite a disadvantage because there are courses which requires us to have a lot of good teamwork, and I'm pretty sure there's also a course coming up that requires people to work together to create an online event. So when we don't meet together and we don't have that connection, it makes it kind of awkward, and it makes us need to put in more effort to produce a good team, have good teamwork, have good synergy with each other. So that is one of the difficult things at the moment.
Yeah, I see. Okay, thank you, Miss Ting Ziyi. So we back to Miss Natasha Eddy. From Facebook, they asked that how to create the excitement feeling even you are doing an event virtually. So, can you give some tips based on your experience?
How to create an excitement feeling.
Yep, during the event virtually.
I believe, in my point of view, the organizer itself have to feel fun doing their events, because if you don't feel fun, you cannot channel the feelings in your events, especially MCs. Like MC is the key player in the events. If they can manipulate the feelings, so the audience can feel excited as well. And also we can use the effects of music, effect of graphics, videos. We can make the audience feel excited based on the music that they feel. That is my point of view. So how
Yeah,
about Miss T?
I would like to say that I completely agree with Natasha. So the environment of the event is always something that's important, and the environment is like kind of created right from the beginning of the event already, like from the music, from the design, as you say. Like this event is like it's designed so beautifully. Like as soon as you enter, you can see, oh my gosh, it is designed so well. It is. I'm sure that it will be a very smooth event. And apart from that, I guess another thing is always just focusing on all of the details. So when I hosted an online forum event, I think like last year, one of the things that we had to focus on a lot was just making sure that the speakers we invited, they are like very interesting. They have a variety, like they are not boring speakers, and the sessions that they give out also make sure that they are interactive with your audience, so that your audience don't feel bored or left out, and they can feel more included in your event.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So, for Miss Rachel, there is a question: is it your country having internship program during this pandemic?
Yeah, so in the Philippines, I think the internship program here is happening in some parts, but I'm not really sure. But in our university, for us, they're still finalizing it, and then I think they're going to announce it to us after then. So yeah, I'm not really sure about the internship program yet.
Oh, I see. So, how about in Indonesia, Mr. Agung?
Okay, in Indonesia we have internship program, yes, but it start from September 2020 because when COVID-19 come to Indonesia since March, all of the active activation of office industry it's closed. So we still have this internship program, but this is my own experience in my campus. I have the internship program in third semester in period of July to January 2020 to 2021, and in the firstly 2 months I do the online internship with the industry, and I learn about the industry in generally, and then in the September I go through the industry, and I finish my internship in January 2021.
I see. Alhamdulillah. And okay, so
Alhamdulillah.
the next question is for Miss Tinzi. So as a student, with many limitation, how can you contribute to your country in reviving tourism? And what is the best mechanism? So can you advise?
So I would always say to start small first. You don't have to go completely all out and try to get like the whole country over and like create a national event or things like that. You can always just start small and start with the people around you. Start with your own community. Because like right now, I'm sure that all of your friends, all of the people around you, everyone is stuck indoors. Everyone is like they want interaction. They want some interesting things to do with like the people and their friends and stuff like that. So just like create an event if you want to with your classmates or just your close friends, and after that, after you get that experience or after you get the inspiration from there, then you go further, and then you can
Yeah.
slowly just impact everyone. Yeah.
I totally agree with that actually. Like we can practice if you have a Discord. Most of you mostly have Discord, right? You
Yes, yes, we
can
do.
do a celebration like your birthday celebration, or maybe your friends had the graduation or something. You can just make a simple template, simple design, and then you can display it, and you will feel like you're making your own event. And when you are confident enough with that event, you can propose it to your lecturers or propose it to your society or something, and you can make it go further. I agree
Yeah,
with Christine.
that's a good idea. But so next question is for Miss Rachel. What is the best and enjoy platform that capable for you as a student for learning and organize an event?
Okay, so in organizing an event, I think we almost used uh, just like Google Meet, Zoom, and MS Teams. I think we have already used all of that. But I think the best is in Zoom, I think, because the navigation is easy and we are all already familiar with Zoom. And I think that's the most platform also that we are using in organizing an event.
Yeah, I see. Okay, thank you. So for Mr. Agung, have you had a feeling stuck in your study due to this pandemic, especially in previously you guys are actively doing an event, but within these 2 years you couldn't do so. So what say you?
Okay, I do have a feeling stuck with my study in this pandemic because we know that especially I'm a study in culinary department and I order to cooking in my practical program in my campus, and after pandemic we have a limited time to doing practical program, and that's a bad experience that I have. And but for me, it's okay. I can join in active campus program, but I have another platform to do. For example, I can find the listen from. Especially me in the culinary program, I can find a recipe from YouTube, from Instagram that can improve my skill and also my knowledge. So I don't like stuck in one thing, but I can move to the another thing to survive with my problems.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I see.
completely agree with like having two different things going on at a time. Because for me personally, I've always tried to have that mindset where not only do I focus on studies, but I also have at least one separate activity. Like it used to be student council, then it changed to a kind of like volunteering organization where you organize these kind of events for international students. And then now I also recently just joined FATA. So that is like really helping me in not feeling stuck. Because yeah, in the beginning during the COVID, like during the first quarantines and things like that, I felt super unmotivated and it was quite tough for me. But over time, it's gotten better.
All right,
Yeah, at
thank you.
first,
So how about you, Miss Natasha?
I'm sorry
Because
for interrupting.
it's okay.
But I think if you guys feel stuck during your study, especially because of this pandemic, mostly maybe you are stuck because you feel lonely, you feel like you don't have physical friends around. So what I can suggest is maybe perhaps you can start doing something that is out of the context of your studying just for a few times. Like some people they will watch anime on their own, but what if you guys contact your friends, you can share screen and watch anime together, and then you can give the comment together. At least you can release your stress, you can free up your mind for a while before you continue doing your work and everything. Because yes, I agree that work can be very troublesome sometimes. It can be too packed for your brain, so you need to release it for a while. Release it with anime, or maybe we can do painting, or you can just watch K-pop. I believe everyone love K-pop right here. So you can enjoy your BTS, your 17, whatever K-pop idol that you think you like. So you can always meet up with your friends. The better way is you always do a video call, like this video call with your friends, and then you can see each other's reaction. You will feel better after that. Seriously,
Yeah,
try it.
I have video calls with my friends, and they have helped me so much because we play games and stuff like that. And it's like, because some of my friends are also like overseas, because they before the pandemic they went overseas, and so right now it's quite tough over there, over here. So yeah, it's been really nice.
Yeah, actually in
Yeah.
Pata LPU, we are having a Pata game night from time to time.
Ah, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. So we move to the next question. So, Miss Rachel, since you represent the PATA Philippines, so there a question for you. On track to reach herd immunity, then to receive the Safe Travel Stamp from World Travel and Tourism Council (WTTC), which is recognized the adoption of global health hygiene protocols. So, there are an event sector in your country ready to fulfill safe travels,
So
Miss Rachel?
yeah. So I cannot be literally sure about what is happening in the airline industry or the travel uh, management there, but what can I say is that we actually have a research about this. So I think their innovations are good, and they're actually quite doing well with the safety protocols and how they are following it strictly to minimize or to lessen the cases of COVID-19 in terms of traveling. And I think while doing and continuing to do so, that strict implementation, I think the country would definitely become ready to fulfill the safe travels someday.
I see. Okay, thank you. So, for Mr. Agong, so how about in Indonesia?
Sorry. The Can you repeat the question?
Okay.
This one, I think, on the
We okay. Sorry. We move to the next question for you. So, with the anxious situation of COVID-19, do you think that the educational institute will survive, especially event student course who supposedly are exposed to physical event? So, what do you think, Mr. Agong?
yeah of Yeah, of course we can survive with educational institute because this is thing that our our assignment as a student because we have to adapt with the new normal habits like now in my campus we limit the student to come in one room in to 20 people, and we have a two session like in the morning from 7 a.m. to 12 a.m. We have a first session and the second session for the 12 a.m. into 4 p.m. 4 p.m. It's mean that we do our best to we do our best to share the educational we are not stuck with this pandemic like we always using virtual, we always using uh, online meeting. We can start our we can back to our old habits with this thing, but we have to adapt.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
we all have to adapt the situation, right?
yeah,
So, how about you, Miss Natasha? What do you think?
I think that yeah, as a student, actually, we have to really learn how to adapt with the new situations, because if we don't know how to adapt, we cannot face the new challenges that will come in the future. And also, if we go to interview for real life, right? They will always find the candidate that are willingly to change in terms of that they can fit in our design of work. And say they are not strict to only one method. We need to change so that we can work well with others as well.
All right, thank
Yeah.
you, Miss Natasha. So, how about you, Miss Tinzi? Since you are in Taylor University, which is international, so what do you think about the educational institute we survive, especially the event student, and they supposedly to make a physical event, but during this pandemic they cannot. So, what do you think?
I think that as students, we will always go for whatever we are passionate for. So personally, I had an experience where in the beginning of COVID, there were still hybrid classes, so I could go to campus for a little bit. And I left campus. I remember I was in the Grab with my friend, and we were going to Sunway. And then the Grab driver, he asked us what course we are in. And then we told him we are in events management course, tourism management. And then the Grab driver said, "Oh, you still have time to change your course." And personally, for me, I feel like I've always, because in my secondary school, in my primary school, and all of that, I took like complete sciences, but I switched completely to events and like the whole variety because I couldn't do science anymore. And I think that personally for me, I have that passion and I have that goal in mind already, so that education institution failing or whatever not, it all depends on the students. If they want to continue fighting for what they are passionate for, or if they are too scared and they want to leave and they want to find something else, that is completely up to us. And yeah.
I agree. That's
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, actually, learning is a never ending process, right? No matter how old we are, it's never late to learn something, and we will eventually find something new in our journey. So it's never wrong to change anything that you like.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
a
I agree
very
with that.
negative opinion to hear, right?
Yeah.
It was definitely quite awkward in the car after.
Yeah.
yeah, you're that feeling there. So, for Miss Rachel, so since you are from Philippines, so what is your expectation and your plan other than virtual tourism on upcoming 10 years in this industry? Since you are okay, sorry, since as know that this pandemic cause can give a huge impact in human.
In humans, sorry, uh, impact in humans. Is that right?
What is your expectation
Oh yeah.
in 10 years forward?
Yeah. So 10 years is quite a long, and I don't want COVID-19 to stay that long, right? Who wants that? So I think I'm gonna focus on the positive side, that hopefully it's not going up to 10 years before the COVID-19 actually disappears. So I don't expect anything, but instead, just like I've said, I'm focusing more on the present life that I have, because at the end of the day, all of the things that you are doing right now will eventually, you know, become in the future that you wanted to be or you wanted to achieve when that time comes, right? So I minimize expecting more, and I'm just focusing on what I am doing today to help me in the future.
Yeah, I see. Okay, thank you for your advices. So, how about Mr. Agong? So, what is your expectation for the virtual tourism in 5 years or onwards in this industry? Since you guys know this pandemic can give a huge impact in our country.
Okay. In my perception, I have to be honest that this virtual tourism is ineffective for the tourists because they can feel in real life how the atmosphere, how the beautiful scenery, and how the culture in the destination. Because I have my close friend, they had once virtual tourism in Amsterdam, and he said that I can enjoy this virtual tourism, but I feel that it's same like we are watching video of the destination in YouTube or other platform. So in my point of view, it is ineffective, right? Because like we are can guide the tourism in virtual, but we can give the provide for the society in the destination because they also need the benefits from the tourist who is visiting their destination.
Yeah, I see. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Agong. So, from Ms. Tizi, may I know, for the virtual tourism is that can be costly, and what will be backup plan in the future for the event student as most of the event is virtually nowadays?
Well, for the normal virtual tourism that you see, usually that so there's two types, as same as events right now. There are free events, free virtual tourism, and there are also ones where it requires you to pay. So, if you're asking from the organizer side, if they are creating something that is very technologically advanced, then yes, that is definitely something that is going to be costly. As for the backup plan, I think that right now, what I am currently trying to build my path to is to have like diversified options. So I have courses which are related to finance and business as well as like designing. So I guess those are sort of like my backup plans. And of course, the majority are still event courses. Like we are still focused on doing that, but for the backup and stuff like that, we have those things to lean back on just in case we need to, just in case this goes on for even longer than we expect it to, and that is our last resort.
I see. Okay, thank you, Ms. Tizi. So we move to Miss Natasha Eddy. So what is
Yes.
your uh, opinion about this question?
Well, actually, I want to give my opinion on the previous question. May I?
Yes, sure.
Because the question is, what is your plan in virtual tourism? What I can suggest is maybe we have hope that the pandemic can be cured. No, we can go back to normal if we have herd immunity, right? When 70% and above have vaccinated, we can cross borders, we can live our own life back. So during before we getting to that herd immunity, I suggest that maybe all the countries and regions in Malaysia, Philippines, Indonesia, wherever, they can constantly post their videos about their country. You know, we have historical village, we have many cultures. Maybe we can do similar to what K-pop has done to us. They have showed us many delicious food, many places to go, so that they have plant in the eager or the interest to visit their country. So we can do the same thing as well. In Malaysia, in Philippines, in Indonesia, we can constantly post the videos so that when the pandemic is cured down, people can cross borders and they will come to our country and increase back our tourism economies. So that
Yeah,
is
yeah.
my
I definitely
suggestion.
agree with that. So sharing of cultures and being able to see what other countries are doing, what they have, is like it's always been one of my favorite things because personally I love traveling. It's one of the
Yeah,
main reasons I was involved in like tourism and event management. Yeah.
exactly.
So yeah, and I like right now I'm scrolling through all of these amazing places and all of these amazing foods, like you said, and I'm like, wow, that is definitely something that I really want to do after COVID. Because of course right now like all of us us are stuck indoors, all of us like we want to go outdoors, we want to do things, we want to travel, we want to like explore and learn about all of these different and amazing cultures. So learning about it beforehand, and it's kind of like a desire, like, oh my gosh, future, we will do this in the future.
We will fight this together. We can still go to back the old days, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually,
We have
we
to
are
be there.
conducting that right now virtually, like sharing
Yeah.
cultures and traditions with Nepal and
Oh,
Korea. Yeah, in Pata, Nepal, Singapore, and Korea. We are actually have done already the sharing of cultures and traditions virtually.
Oh,
That is so
Yeah.
amazing.
so I
all
really
right.
believe
So
that one day when the pandemic is over, our industry will be rising again, and then we will see many foreigners in our countries.
Yeah,
It will be a
yeah. I
nice thing
mean,
to see.
people right now, I feel like, yeah, people want to go out, people want to travel. It's just that with current conditions, we aren't able to. But after COVID, when there are no more restrictions, I feel like there's going to be quite a boom. Of course, in the beginning, people are going to be quite still a little bit scared to go out and things like that. But after that, I think there's going to be quite a boom, and we will see like a huge influx of people traveling and people wanting to get out from having been stuck for who knows how long.
I
Yeah.
hope. Cross fingers.
yeah, we hope so. All right. So Miss Rachel, so how about you? How about your future backup plan? Since we are all students doing an event in virtual. So what is your opinion? What is your future backup plan, Miss
So
Rachel?
for my yeah, my future backup plan, or what I can say that with the experiences that I have encountered and the roles that I have fulfilled being in PATA while being a student as well, is that I have made and came down to three keywords that I can share with you. Is that uh, be resourceful in a way that you should see things around you that can work for you in our experience, because in our experience in the start of the pandemic, we have quite made a lot of ideas to implement as an event, but the reality is, as we are already pointing out here, is that we still have a very limited resources, right? Like we're short in budget because of COVID-19 and all of that. But uh, we chose to maximize the things that we already have and the things that we can do as of the moment. And I think the next one is to innovate. By this means, in being resourceful, you should now then try to innovate and make the most of the things that we have gathered and turn it into reality, right? So, and finally, I think it is to stay determined, because you cannot successfully attain the goal without your determination to do so. And stay determined so you can focus on your goal and finally successfully conduct an event, right?
Yeah, I see. Okay, thank you, Miss Rachel. So, we move to the next question, which is for Miss Natasha Eddy. Do you think that event management students are following up or meeting up the standards of event management education?
The students. So
Yep.
I believe we are being taught of how to handle events properly, following the protocols. We have from the beginning of the semester, we learn what is event management, what is the principle of event management, how to conduct the protocol properly, like how to bump in, how to bump out in a proper way. So I believe the students are actually meeting up the standards of event management education. So, and as I mentioned before, we are given the opportunity to organize our own events, whether it's under society or even under our own class. So we applying all the things that we have learned during the lecture, the mass lecture. We apply all the theories that we learn in conducting a proper event. And the proof is here right now. One of our seniors are actually applying everything that they have learned and giving you this event industry symposium. So based on what you guys see right now, this is the example of event management students. This is what we learn and this is how we portray what we have learned.
Yes,
Yeah.
sounds good.
One
Yeah,
thing I will add
congratulations.
though, one thing I will add though is that unfortunately, since right now, um, quite a lot of new event management students, they have never really been able to experience organizing a physical event. So I guess in that side, I would say that we might be lacking, those event management students might be lacking in some of those um, organizing physical event skills. Because right now, of course, you always need practical skills. You can learn all you want in a classroom, but at the end of the day, the knowledge and education isn't going to like contribute to like skills and like getting sponsorships, meeting with sponsorships, getting registration, stuff like that. So perhaps that is one thing that we will all need to polish up on after COVID. Because if after COVID and we go straight into the industry, and then just at that time, it's physical events. Like it's able to have physical events, and we need to organize physical events, but we're not able to. Like we're at a disadvantage. So yeah, that's the one thing I would say.
Yeah, I think also the procedure is not that different to the face-to-face setup, but the difference
Yeah.
here, yeah, the difference here I must say is that the challenge in pre-pandemic that we have to really exert an effort, right, to go there personally, to check the places, the venue, or the reservations that we have, right, and to pass all of the papers in the office. And
Yeah.
in my opinion, it's really kind of convenient today to be able to send it all online, right? But again,
Yep.
I think the important key in this point is that time management. Time management is really important thing to remember to meet the deadlines, of course, and to successfully carry out an event.
Yeah, but I
Yeah, yeah,
guess
yeah.
one other good thing is that COVID has kind of opened up a lot of new
Yeah,
opportunities and a lot of
I agree.
innovations. Like Zoom, before COVID, who heard of Zoom? Who heard of virtual events? And now it's like it's all we have to do. So yeah, that's one good thing, and that's of course those are skills that we learn about as well. Those are skills that perhaps previous event management students never learned about.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
because
remembered.
previously they only learn about physical events, right? So now they have finished studying, so they have no experience of handling virtual events on their own. They only enter virtual events. They don't really organize virtual events. So this is a
Yeah,
good
they have to
opportunity for new
relearn. Yeah.
students. Mm-mm.
I agree to
All
Miss
right.
Ting that because
Mhm.
being in a particular situation like this pandemic that has caused us, and when all of these changes began, is maybe also a definite time to make an innovation and to see this as an opportunity, right? And this just doesn't apply to the different industries that we are in, but to the world, right? So that's what I think also.
Okay, thank you, Miss Rachel, Miss Natasha, and Miss Tingzi. So, how about Mr. Agong? So, what do you think about the tourism's management student that apply the standard of management education in context in your department, which is culinary, right?
Okay, and it's about the event management. We also learn about the event management in my subject because it's important for me as a hospitality student, and we learn more about this event management. And for the standard of event management education, it's like we are learn about standard management education in generally, but we still apply it in the next semester program. Like we are have a we have a like a monthly event, like we have a safe program. We invite the guests to come in to fill our food, and they can taste it, they can learn it about the food. And also in the next month we have a buffet program like that, like we perform in a open area, like it's more than, yeah, we still have to follow with the health protocol, like to people's maximum, and we can give them attraction, like there is traditional dancing or live music. And that is one of application in event management education in my campus, in my subject.
Oh, I see. That was great. So, the next question is also for you, Mr. Agong. So, how could you and others convince the possible sponsor to fund your virtual event? So, based on your experience and your event you have done with your team, so what is the convince the possible sponsor to fund your event, Mr. Agong?
Okay, as long in this pandemic, I have to be honest that I have no doing a physical event, like I just following, not organizing. Just like we if we have event, we do it in virtual event, like. And then if we want to searching for the sponsor, we keep the previous sponsor that in the previous event, like they we and negotiate about the benefits for us, the organize and the committee and them. And but now if we have, and I have to be honest, it's hard to find a possible sponsor, right? Because this pandemic, they have their own problem with their product and their economic, and if they want to help us about this event, they will have an outcome more than their income. So in this time, I still thinking of we still using our previous sponsor.
Yes, I would like to say that Mr. Agong is like completely right in the fact that right now it's more difficult to get sponsors than in physical events. So in my one of my previous events, which was a You Speak forum, we reached out to over like 50 businesses and corporations, and we only managed to get one or two out of them because everyone else was they did not have enough funds, or they did not have enough they couldn't like focus on not only their business but on participating in this other sponsorship for events as well, which was very difficult. So yes, I completely agree on that point. And I guess usually sponsors will look at two things. From what I have noticed, they always focus on impact and outreach. So firstly, the impact is if your event is related to something that is quite community centered, community based, like maybe you are doing an event for cancer survivors or things like that, then that is like one of the things they will look at, like, oh, you are impacting the life of the cancer survivors, you are bettering the life of this community and things like that. So that is one thing they look at. And the second one, outreach. So the outreach is, of course, how many participants you will get at your event, because that is the number of participants who like their commercials or their promotions will reach out to. So the higher your outreach, which considering online events don't have a limited number of participants and it reaches to international participants, that's a good point. So from what I've noticed, those two are usually the most what is looked at the most by sponsors.
Yeah, I see. Okay. So, for Miss Rachel, so what is your perspective based on your experience that you have done your events previously?
Oh, I forgot. I'm muted. Okay, so
It's okay.
um, well, I wish I could have shown you the video of our event highlights, but then, because in our experiences in the start of pandemic in Pata Api, Philippines, with all the collaborations of partnerships that we have done, these were all conducted virtually, right? Because it was in the start of pandemic, and uh, actually, we really had no idea how to conduct an event online in the first, considering the given guidelines and processes that we have to strictly follow in our university, like the new procedures and all. But we managed to push through our first event, which is the Ignite. It is the welcoming of the members and the newly appointed officers and everything. And everything was all of a sudden, and everything were done so fast, for everything is different, right? And I can say that we're not that prepared, but it must gotta be executed on time. And for it was all decided already, and we needed to push through, or we needed to push through, right? We have no choice. So I think the point here is that even though there's a sudden change in the normal things we do, even if we are organizing an event before in pre-pandemic, we have no choice just like what we are all pointing out, but to adapt to these changes. And because we know, even though there's no pandemic today, like change is still happening, right? Change is inevitable, and we can't avoid it, but we can do something about it. And it is to accept and move forward. But the thing in this part is your perspective or point of view in this situation. If you're going to see this either as an opportunity for improvement or negatively. So yeah, that's my
Yeah, I
perspective.
see. Okay, thank you, Miss Rachel. So, how about you, Miss Natasha Eddy? What is your
Mm,
point of view?
about this sponsorship thing. So
Ah,
actually,
yeah.
how to convince sponsorship? One thing that we can do, based on what Ms. Tizi has said, they will find the event that can reach many people and also that will give more impact. And company will also find what will the benefit that they will get. For example, like this, if let's say, so I believe each one of us is from a different society, like from Ridwan as well is from a different faculty, right?
Yep.
So each
Yes.
one of us, let's say if each of us collaborate with each other, all five of us collaborate in one event, and then they can see that we can reach all different different clusters. So they will see that they can reach many people. So they will have like more trust in us because we can reach more, and they will be impactful for their company. So sometimes, yeah, some companies can be a little bit picky with which society when they see student events, right? Because yeah, we know that students events, some of them are very bombastic, some of them are very like so only. So that's why companies are actually picky. So if we can show them, we can prove to them that we can be impactful as other event organizers, I think they will be convinced to sponsor us, inshallah.
I see. Okay, thank you, Miss Natasha. So, here we go. The last question for our slot for today. So, what are the tips can you guys give to our audience? Is mostly is a student. For introvert student who would like to go out and show their creativity. So, what is your tips, Miss Tizi?
Well, creativity comes in many different forms. So for
It's
introvert
very
students,
subjective.
yes. There's not just speaking, and if you are introverted, you don't need to show creativity through communicating with others actually, because there are so many different forms like doing art or doing design or things like that, and
Yep.
you can share them online to a group of people that you don't ever need to interact with physically. But if the introvert students, they want to work on that, they want to come out of their shell a little bit more as well. There are so many forms of creativity that you can do. Dance is a creativity. Like singing is a form of creativity as well. It's so many different kinds that you can develop yourself in and learn about.
Yeah, I
True,
see.
true.
Okay. So,
Yes,
what is your Mr. Go? How they
I
inter? Okay.
I
Okay.
am agree with Miss Tizzy because to be honest, I am the introvert person too. That I if I want to show my creativity, it's hard because for myself is I feel not comfortable if I have in the crowded. I feel like I have to communicate with others. That so I find my own space like. What can I do in my own space? And I believe in every people in this world has been blessed with a talent. So I like to making poems. I like making the new recipe of food, and I like to doing something else. Like for me, it's have a benefit for me, and if I think go out, it's have a benefit too for the society. So I can using my social media like Instagram, and I'm active in Instagram. I share in my story like what the food I make for today. Like this is a fusion style from the Western food and Oriental food, and I make a fusion style, and then like I like to make a poem. I make this is the generation of heartbreak, and make like dramatic poems, and they be like, "Oh God, that's relate to me." I feel like, "Oh, that's so touchful." So I just replying for thank you. That's yeah,
I
that's it.
see.
So my conclusion is, you can show your creativity. You can show your talent. If it's not possible to using in real life to communicating with society, you can use your social media. You can use your another platform in your phone or gadget, because we are a young generation and everything in our hand now, and believe that you are not alone.
Yeah, I
Yes.
really agree with Mr. Agung. If you're an introvert, you have to start small. And actually, when you start small, start with something what you like. For example, like what Mr. Agun did, he shared his poem, he shared his cooking and everything. So when you are comfortable with sharing what you like, you will feel that you will forget that you are an introvert for a while. You will keep on sharing whatever things that you like. For example, you love this K-pop band, for example. You will keep on babbling about every idol. If there are 30 members, you will explain about all the 30 members, and then you'll forget that you're actually an introvert. Start with
Yeah,
something that you
yeah,
really, really like,
Yeah.
really close to your heart.
Yeah, you could express yourselves in any form that you're comfortable with.
Yes.
yes, I agree with that. So, I think do you guys any advisors or any tips to our audience? Do you guys want to add something?
Yes, yes. So for me personally, to all the students out there, or if you're not students, if you are working in the industry, don't lose hope, stay determined, and always try to find new things to develop yourself with. Right now, during pandemic time, we are all stuck indoors. We have quite a lot of time on our hands. So take the time as well to try and learn something new. Try to take up something that might develop yourself and your skills, and stay safe.
I see. Thank you, Miss TZE. So, how about Miss Natasha? Do you got any advices to give?
My advice is try to face your fears, because when you never try, you never know. You have to try first. If that thing actually, for some people that fear is nothing to them, they will see that it's a very small matter, but some people, they that is their phobias, their traumas, maybe before there's something happened to them because of that event. So I think to face your fears is the best thing you can do during this pandemic, because no one will judge you. You are by
Yep.
yourself at home. So if you do a mistake, it's only with yourself. So you can keep on trying without anyone to comment on your trials. How many trials you need, you just do it until you get the
Yeah.
perfect result that you like.
Yes. The key is believe in ourselves, right?
Yes, believe in
So,
yourself.
move to Miss Rachel. Do you have any advice?
Yeah, I think Miss Ding and Miss Natasha have said already the good advices and the important things that you guys should insert in your mind. But I think I'm just gonna repeat what I've mentioned before about focusing on what you can do today, because that's very important, guys. Because at the end of the day, it's today that is happening right now, right? So if you're doing something today, then might as well resulted to a good future career after COVID-19, right?
Yeah, I see. Thank you, Miss. So how about you, Mr. Agong?
I have a word from my teacher before, like he said that young generation is the pioneer of changing the for future, and I believe that. Right, we are the student, we are the young generation. We don't have to afraid with everything that happen in future. All we do is what happened today, and we have to believe that we can survive today. We are the influencer in our society. We are the pioneer of changing our future. So it
Yes.
start from us, the young generation. It start from us, the student. If we want to change ourselves, if we want to change the world, we can start by changing ourselves.
Yep, I agree with you. So, I think guys, we are at the end of our session. So I want to say thank you so much to all panelist members for your precious time and sharing session. So every beginning has an end. So once again, I would like to say thank you for our respectful speaker. And we really hope that you guys will put into practice the lessons from the event. I am Muhammad Ridwan bin Asharuddin, and after this, we're gonna have a commercial break. So I really hope that you guys enjoy our slot and stay safe, guys. And thank you for our respectful panelists. Bye, guys, and thank you so
Safe,
much.
guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Don't forget to stay safe,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Langkawi Bumi Masuri boleh dilawati melalui laluan laut dan udara. Pelbagai kenderaan untuk keselesaan perjalanan anda di Langkawi. Penginapan di pelbagai lokasi dengan servis yang terbaik. Menerokai pengalaman menarik dan menyeronokkan sesuai untuk pelbagai peringkat usia. Restoran yang berkapasiti besar. Syurga membeli belah bebas cukai Langkawi. Antara pencapaian kami ialah APEC 2020, Ironman 2017 dan perasmian bas oleh Tun Mahathir.
Not again. Fire in the hole. Let's move. Take cover. The new Lombok 3. It removes microfine dust, harmful gases and even odors. With layers of superfine filtration. So terror.
Timur, jangan lupa mari semua. Negeri penuh memang sohor tempat molek. Tanam sumber, tempat molek. Tanam sumber. Kanu kita. Kanu kita. Warning apa? Ya, lewat tahu.
Hai, Assalamualaikum. Hari ini adalah hari ketiga kat BEP bersama dengan Queen Dara Kenya Houseboat, di mana houseboat ni memang sangat-sangat best, sangat bersih, staff dia pun friendly, driver pun memang best sangat, semua best and ada macam-macam aktiviti yang kita boleh buat masa berada dekat perairan Kenyir. Bersama dengan Queen Dara Kenya Houseboat ni, diorang ada banyak aktiviti yang boleh kita join. And lagi satu nak bagi tahu, atas houseboat ni ada 8 bilik standard dan juga 1 bilik VIP yang memang cantik, ada aircon lagi. Lepas tu dia ada living hall yang macam ada TV, ada astro, ada karaoke set. So memang sesuai sangat untuk aktiviti ramai-ramai macam ni, macam aktiviti dengan staff ke, bersama dengan family ke, memang kami recommendkan untuk korang datang bercuti ambil Queen Dara Kenya Houseboat. Okay, kalau nak tahu info lagi boleh contact mana punya detail. Alright, bye.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you to all the honorable speakers for their thoughtful sharing. such a great sharing with a good moderator. We hope that all of you still in touch with us because the program is about to get more exciting. Now, moving on, I will invite our project manager of the Event Industry Symposium 2021 to present the summary of this event. It's my pleasure to call our beautiful and great leader. The floor is yours, Miss Amirachi.
Hi, sorry for interrupt. Okay, sorry. Uh, Program director, can you unmute your mic because we cannot hear you?
All right. I'm so sorry. I think this is one of the technical issues that always happens within these virtual events. But never mind. I will start again. Hi everyone. Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon. My name is Amira. I'm a project manager of Event Industry Symposium. So actually, it's so awkward actually when we talking to the camera alone. Sometimes I think, am I a YouTuber? All right, never mind. Let's straight to the point. Today, I'm going to present to you guys a summary of this both day event actually. So we will start for the yesterday sessions. Let's move to the first slide. We have Mr. Muhammad Nur Hamid with the topic, the aftermath of COVID-19. All right. Mr. Mohammed is from MySAP actually. So here's a few things that I really like to mention because I think it's a really good things. Mr. Muhammad has mentioned about the opportunity during this pandemic COVID-19 because we know after during this aftermath there's a lot of issues. Many of them are losing their jobs. The industry shut down, and we lost the credibility to connect and engage with the business traveler outside Malaysia, right? So here's the few opportunity that myself come up with, right? The first thing, myself has hosting 17 international conference and exhibitions, and they are target more than 40,000 delegates came throughout the world, and it can be a world MICE business destination in up to 2025. It's so awesome, you know. Right, let's moving to the second slide. For the second slide, we have Miss Tan Wei Sin, right? With the topic virtual event versus destination events. When I remember last day with the Miss Tan slides, she is really energetic. I really love the vibe, the way she deliver. You know what? So here's a few things that I want to highlight to everyone. If we want to create a whole new event, we need to think out of the box. We need to be creative, and we need to know what people seek. What is people really seek during this pandemic, or what they can do when they sit at home, right? Currently, there's a lot of gaming tournament, right? If you guys notice, I think everyone know about the gaming tournaments that includes where it needs to make the player to move around, to mingle around, and I think that's one of the good way to make them move around rather than staying still. You know what? Don't forget to break your boundary and push yourself so you know where is your limits of. So this is the things that I want to highlight from Miss Tanya today. Right. Next slot 3, we have Mr. Denny Salazi Murdani. All right. With the topic connections, networking, and exposition travel. All right. In this slide, Mr. Murdani mentioned a lot of Indonesian's culture. You know, you need to. He mentions you need to study your own country. He mentioned this. You need to study. We need to study our own country geographic if you want to make it as a MICE event destinations. Because MICE event is not about a meeting or conference actually, because it's about promoting promoting our country. Because it's also about meeting and incentive, where incentive can be categorized as a reward from the company to employee. Hence, if you want to make your country as a business traveler spot, you need to find something that can attract them. Because I believe every country have its own specialties. You know what? Same goes to Malaysia. Next slide for the slot 4, we have Mr. Yusno Yunus, right, with the topic MICE tourism during COVID-19 and further direction for the new normal, right? Here's a few things. What is Mr. Yusno has mentioned yesterday. All in all, if you want to make an event in the new norm, you need to know what kind of things that you seek. You get what's Mr. Yusno want to mention. We need to know what we are really want and what platform you want to use and how to engage virtually with other people. You may also sell your experience and teach other if you have made a virtual event before. Most important things is you need to choose the right platform and the right technology to broadcast your event and make it as memorable event for the audience. All right, here's the thing. When we go virtual using this digital platform, it might be sounds boring, right? But actually, that is our responsibility. How to make our event special? How to make it different with others' event? And that is how we can engage with our audience, with our participants, because during these virtual events, it's quite important actually how we can engage with our participants. Yeah. All right. The last slide for the day 1, we have Mr. Jack Gill with the topic into the new world of virtual. All right. Here's the thing that Mr. Jack has highlighted yesterday, where we are in the situations where everything needs to be in a virtually from where it might be a conference, meeting, seminar, and also a concert. Since the COVID-19 pandemic hits the world, we are restricted to do a physical event. no concerts, no physical conference, no physical meeting, no travel, you know what? So when entering a virtual, we need to consider how audience see the event, right? What can we do if we face the technical issues? Just like just now, I forgot to turn on my mic. That is one of the issues that always happens, but this is the things, right? Also, what kind of tools we need to use to avoid the risk? There's all the questions that we need to ask ourselves. So with these questions, we can meet, uh, what we can do. We can meet the solution. We have to try to find solutions how we can make all these plans. But technical issue is always happens. That is one things that we need to know. Right. So let's moving to today events summary. Today events is so awesome, guys. Look, just look at who is our speaker today. So for the first slide, we have Miss Hashika from New Zealand. She is chairperson of Pacific Asia Travel Association New Zealand. So she is discussing a topic, the survival after COVID-19. All right. So I think I really love these sessions, this lot, because as we know, New Zealand has recovered from COVID-19, right? So what we can learn from New Zealand is how their minister, citizens give their best and cooperate together by listening to the government's advice and by following the SOP. Um, to curb the biggest spreading of this COVID-19. So even so, they impacted the economy because job losses, especially in tourism and event industry, but they still can overcome this, right? That is the positive things. I think I've learned a lot from New Zealand. So this kind of implementation from the government will make the New Zealand free from COVID and their citizens can travel domestically. I love how they introduced new campaign. Seriously, I do really like it. And how they introduced the new campaign to raise their economic like before. A strong leadership actually can control the needed during this hard time. So I think we are lucky enough to live this way, especially with the advanced technology like Symposium, such as show their country attraction, place and culture. Because I think through this generation, nowadays generations, people are always with gadget, handphone, laptop. I think it's more easier for them to go through all these things. You know what? And the last words from Miss Hashika, mind is everything. What we think, we become. All right, let's moving to the last slide for today. We have second session of today, which is the survival after COVID-19. So we come up with 4 speakers, right? The first speaker, we have Miss Tin Ziyi, the co-director in Event Student Council, University of Taylor. The second one is we have Miss Rachel from Pata, Philippines. The third one, we have Miss Natasha Edi, Event Management Student UiTM Shah Alam. And the last one, we have Mr. Agung Nugraha, the Pata Lombok, Indonesia. Right? I do really love the conversation. The discussion just is awesome. They are sharing what their thought about their country, our country. It's an awesome discussion. So even so, we need to practice a new norm and adapt to it. We need to bear in mind that we still need to live our life like before. It's just in a different way. But this is the fact actually we have to accept. So it is stressful for everyone, but we can overcome it by setting in our mind that everything will be better after we reach the immunity. Then we can live our life like before. So during this hard time, we need to support from everyone that is close to us. Keep supporting each other no matter what, because we need each other. And I do really like the captions from Malaysian citizens. Kita jaga kita, right? So, however, don't forget to follow the SOP, everyone, and follow the government instructions so that we can have a better life. I think that's all the summary from me. Once again, I really thanks to everyone who has attended this both event. I don't think so we can make this event success without you guys. You guys are so awesome, guys. So I think that's all from me. Stay safe, keep in touch. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Amirachi, for presenting the summary of the event. It really touched my heart. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our event has reached to its last agenda. We have been here for 2 consecutive days where all the crews have shown their full commitments to ensure this program runs smoothly.
Now, to close this program, we are pleased to have Professor Dr. Muhammad Salihuddin Muhammad Zahari, Dean of Faculty of Hotel and Tourism Management, to deliver the closing remarks. Please welcome Professor Dr. Muhammad Salihuddin Muhammad Zahari.
Assalamualaikum. Good afternoon, everyone. Your Honorable Professor Noriati Ahmad, Dean Faculty of Business and Management, Wan Nur Ahmad Ramli, Advisor of Event Organization, Ms. Azura Nordin, Co-Advisor of Event Resource Management, and Datin Dr. Hasnawi, Advisor for Convention and Exposition Management, the management team from both faculty, distinguished speakers, and participants of Event Industry Symposium 2021. Welcome to the second day of the symposium. First of all, as the Dean of Faculty of Hotel and Tourism Management, I would like to thank and congratulate the organizer of Event Industry Symposium 2021 for this successful collaboration project between pioneer students of degree in Event Management, Faculty of Business and Management, and postgraduate student of Class Convention and Exposition Management, Faculty of Hotel and Tourism Management. It is a great honor for me to have the opportunity to deliver a speech for the closing ceremony. I sincerely hope in this 2-day symposium, participants have gained insightful knowledge shared by the distinguished speakers and experts in the event industry in Malaysia, Indonesia, New Zealand, and the Philippines. The participation and involvement from various local and international key speakers in the event industry are essential components for both visibility of faculty, university as a whole. Undoubtedly, visibility beside other initiatives are one of the ways in achieving the UiTM mission to be as international renowned university and climb the ranking ladder. With that, I would like to express my highest gratitude to all speakers for their time and knowledge sharing for this event, and hope both faculties will have more collaborative initiative among the other faculties, universities, and industry stakeholders in organizing of a such event in the future. Lastly, thank you so much for all participants who joined this event, and I hope you all had a great time. Have a good day, stay safe, and so long everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Muhammad Salihuddin Muhammad Zahari, for delivering the speech for closing ceremony.
Before we announce the winners, let's take a look at the prizes that we have prepared for you. Enjoy! The prizes awaiting you are 250 ringgit Malaysia promotion voucher from Raya Hotel to 50 early birds that have registered to our event. So, who have registered this early morning? Let's take a look together on the screen to spot the lucky names. Congratulations to the first 10 winners. Make sure you spot your names, okay? Next. Congratulations to another 10 lucky winners. And we have next. Congratulations again to another 10 winners. Wow. And we have another 20 lucky winners. So, who's the next one? Congratulations. All right, so we have another 10. So, who's the last 10? Wow, congratulations to the all 50 early birds. So, don't forget to claim with us.
Alright, so congratulations for the all winners for the early bird participant. Yeah, so don't forget to spot your name and contact us for more DM for your prize up later. So next, we also have prizes for 25 active participants. So let's be together take a look who's the winner for the active participant. Okay, congratulations. So on the first slot, we have 5 winners. So basically for the slot 1, which is the during session with Miss Hanshika Harid. So this is the list name of the winner for the active participant who has always asked on the chat box and keep always asking this question. All right.
That's right. Congratulations.
All right. So please take a screenshot. So easier for you to claim later with our organizer. All right. So next, we're gonna proceed to active participant on the slot 2. All right. So for the winner for the slot 2, they are selected from the session with this sports speaker. So on the slot 2, we have 20 winners. 20 list of winners. So on the first slide, we have 10 winners. Okay, please spot your name, All right. Next. Okay, congratulations to Salasia and also EZB and American South. So for more detail, you can contact us via DM Instagram so that we can get more detail on you, because maybe some of us use the different name before they register on our registration form on this event. All right. So congratulations again for the all winners.
Alright, for your information, for the best Instagram story posting, we will announce the 11 winners through our Instagram page at EIS2021 at 6 p.m. later. So stay tuned and don't forget to check out our Instagram page.
Now, we would like to announce the most lucky winner for today, who will bring back home a golden ticket, which included Oppo smartwatch, tumbler from T-Life, and Jovian mask. And all of these prizes are worth RM 200 ringgit.
Wow, that sounds cool.
Yeah. So the winner for golden ticket is congratulations to Jennifer Jamfina.
Congratulations! Don't forget
Let's
to
give a
claim your
big
prize.
applause.
Congratulations to all the winners, and for those who did not manage to win, do not be discouraged, as okay, you are still lucky to be here joining us.
Yes, that's correct. So again, I would like to say thank you to all the honorable speaker for sharing with us the information and knowledge regarding regarding the regarding the event industry. So we hope that all our participants manage to grab the information that had been shared by our speaker just now. And not to forget, thank you to all our sponsor of this event industry symposium. So let's give a big applause to our sponsor.
We also would like to extend our deepest gratitude to our advisors for the endless support, and to all the participants as well for sparing some time to join us in the last day of Symposium. We truly appreciate your attendance to this event, and we hope that the agendas we provided for this symposium will prove beneficial to everyone. Last but not least, thank you to our symposium team for the great effort and massive contribution to in conducting this event.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as the saying goes to, every beginning there is an ending. I hope that you have enjoyed yourself and gained new knowledge regarding the event industry and how it has been affected during this pandemic COVID-19 throughout this symposium.
We hope to see you again in our future events.
And however, before you leave this event, a little reminder to everyone, which is do not forget to fill up the feedback form by scanning the QR code and or by clicking the feedback form link that is posted on the chat box of our Facebook and YouTube. So thank you again and enjoy the rest of your day.
Goodbye, everyone. Assalamualaikum. Have a nice day.
Goodbye and Assalamualaikum.
you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Would it be the same if I saw you in heaven? I must be strong and carry on, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven. Would you hold my hand if I saw you in heaven? Would you help me stay if I saw you in heaven? I'll find my way through night and day, 'cause I know I just can't stay here in heaven. Time can bring you down, time can bend your knee. Time can break your heart, have you begging please, begging please. Beyond the door, there's peace, I'm sure, 'cause I know there'll be no more tears in heaven. Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Would it be the same if I saw you in heaven? I must be strong and carry on, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven. 'Cause I know I don't belong here in heaven.